Hi guys, this is Lily White, the Vice President of External Affairs from the Columbia Chamber of Commerce with another Government Affairs update. We're going to start with a couple updates on some things we've been touching on the last couple weeks, then we'll jump into City Council and what we saw happen this week at Council. So we want to thank the City Council again for tabling the language on the drive-through changes to the Unified Development Code in early March. We do expect to see this information come back on April 3rd with updated information and language from city staff. And we are waiting for recommendations from the Columbia Board of Realtors, which we'll be sharing out to our membership. But we really want to encourage businesses that either would currently be affected or may in the future be affected by any of these changes to attend City Council on April 3rd to talk about how this could impact their business or future business developments. And remember that really positive reinforcement on some things can have just as strong of a weight as critical thinking. So we want to thank council, and then we want to move forward with options that are going to work best for the city and for the business community. Next, we expected to see the Fusus information come back at City Council this week. It was not brought back, and we are not 100% sure when we'll see that happen. It sounds like they're waiting for some more developments, and we can expect that to come probably into the summer. So we're going to keep our eye on the Fusus video surveillance system that impacts businesses' video surveillance and how it works with the police department, and we will keep that up to date for you all. So be expecting more information in the future, but just know there's kind of a pause on that conversation at this time. So into what happened last night at City Council, there was a long agenda, and so some of this is really still developing as it moves forward. A couple things included, they added this source of income as a protected class in the city code. Really what this affects is when you're getting a check on your source of income for something like housing. So how a lease could say, you need to be able to make 2 times or 3 times of your lease. It adds this as a protected class. So it affects the way that landlords can be looking at that information. This was unanimously passed, so it will go into the city code, and we'll continue to see how that kind of plays out. So just know that that was passed. If you're a landlord or if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out. We'll get you in contact with the city staff that can help answer those questions. Next, during the council reports, Mayor Barbara Buffalo did bring up that the city has a request for proposal out currently reviewing how housing development happens in the central neighborhood area and ensuring that the city maintains some of the historical character that our community is used to. It's really a request for proposal to help planning and protecting that kind of aesthetic look and also just what happens with historical infrastructure. Since that request for proposal is currently out and no one has been awarded that, she has requested, and it was met with general agreement from most of the council people. It did appear that Councilman Pitzer wasn't so sure about this request, but the rest of the council people did agree to ask staff to draft a administrative delay on building new multifamily units or the demolition of any structures that are a minimum of 50 years old in the region and the area of our community that this RFP would affect. So this does not go into place immediately, but it is something that will be brought back. I would expect it on the April 3rd agenda. She's asked city staff to work on that, so it should be coming back relatively soon, and this is to administratively pause any demolition or new request for building in the areas that are under this RFP. We're looking into what this RFP specifically impacts, but we will be keeping our eye on that information as it comes back to City Council. And finally, at the City Council level, roll carts were unanimously approved. So hopefully we can move forward with other issues at this point, other challenges in our community. But roll carts were unanimously approved. They will take effect on March 4th of 2024. The delay in this from being approved, last night on March 20th, 2023, and when they'll actually take effect is due to getting the trucks and getting the roll carts actually physically in our community to make that process work moving forward. So expect that to be coming down the pipeline for you as residents. The roll carts will not be expected to be purchased by our residents. So you all will get more information. There will be a marketing campaign to get information out to all of the city residents. This will be our last update before the election results of April 4th. So just as we end the city council section of this, just a reminder that there are several things in our city on the ballot, including 2 city council seats and Proposition 1 for the adult use marijuana tax, as well as school board seats and a county adult use tax. So make sure that you get out and vote, and check your early registration, check where your voting locations are, and then answer all the municipal questions. So if you have any questions about that, make sure you check out all of the various areas that you can get information, but specifically the county clerk's office website does have your sample ballots online and can help you find where you can go for election. Now we're going to move on to the state level. State House and Senate were actually on spring break last week, so there's a little bit less to report here right now. As spring break started up, there was a filibuster in the Senate. So spring break on the Senate side actually started a day early, meaning that we were out of session in the Senate from Thursday, the week before spring break was supposed to start, all the way till Monday, March 20th. So things that really appear to still be viable legislation based on the halfway point of our session right now is our upskill credentials for workforce that the chamber has testified on and is really helping to move that to the finish line. Child care contribution tax credits, we've also testified on this, and it has moved through the House. The I-70 budget that was presented by the governor in his State of the State is continuing to move. We are seeing a little bit of disagreement on how some of that funding would like to be spent on the House side and on the Senate side, but is expected to get to the Senate and really be hammered out in that side. And we are seeing, a unified front on some of our higher education increase in core funding. So all good things, all things that are on the chamber's priority list. As a reminder, we only touch on business priorities on this, though there are several other bills moving through the legislature. We are starting to see some fractures on the Senate side, so we kind of expect things to slow down a little bit on the Senate side as we enter the second half of our legislative cycle. But for now, that's all we have. If you all have any questions or need any more information, feel free to reach out to us here at the Columbia Chamber of Commerce, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. And we hope to see you at the polls on April 4th.